Hey, what's going on guys, John here and welcome back to the channel. Now, you guys have probably heard it all over the web or at least seen it yourself on the Tesla website. You are unable to order long-range models of the Model 3 anymore. Now, this is only happening in the US and in Canada. So unfortunately, if you guys wanted to order that just a few days ago, you would have been able to. And then just yesterday, you would not be able to. Now, the only option you really have now is to go for the basic Model 3, which originally was called the standard range, or the performance model. Now, the differences between the two are quite substantial, so that's where the long range really played in the middle. The long range originally gave everything that the performance had except for the finer details like the brakes and the suspension. Now there's nothing in the middle to just fill that void, you know? The basic model doesn't have the premium sound speakers and it does not have the LED fog lights. It doesn't have quite a bit of things that the performance has, whereas the long range would have them. The most notable thing is that the all-wheel drive system is no longer going to be there. You're either picking a rear-wheel drive or a performance, which is really expensive up to this point. But anyways, let's go back to the reason why the long range has been discontinued, at least until next year. Elon has tweeted out and even responded to a couple other tweeters saying that there is a backlog of Model 3 long ranges, that the order is growing too big, the wait list is too big, and they cannot fulfill it at least until next year. So this is his reason why they should take it off the website, which doesn't really make sense to me. So I want to talk a little bit about that in this video here and give you guys an idea of why I think this is pure BS, and there's probably more reasons to it in the back. Alright, so first thing, production, the waitlist is too long. I don't see why that would be, because the basic model has been always the one that has been backlogged. People really can't afford the long range or the performance. Most people in this world can only purchase the basic model, maybe some minor changes like the color and the interior seating and whatnot, but they are going to be picking the cheapest version that they can afford. So that in itself already pushes all the reasons about the long range being too backlogged, the waitlist being too long, because I personally don't see anybody picking up a long range, and if they can pick up a long range, they can afford a long range, they could probably add 10k to afford the performance anyways. Now, like I said, when it comes down to it, if you can afford the long range, likely you can afford the performance version, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to get the performance, because it is a little bit harsher. You don't want the shorter range because of the tire size, and there's a lot of other reasons to it, so don't take that too deeply. I'm sure there are people that just purely want the long range, and there's just not enough of those out there to cause this delay that Elon is talking about. Alright, so the next reason it could be is that Tesla is waiting to do the single die casting for the long range model of the Model 3, just like they did for the Model Y, but I still think this is very unlikely because they probably tested on the basic version in case anything happens, because that is a more mass marketed car that everybody can afford. They'll probably test it on that car before they do anything to the long range or the performance, so I'd scrap that idea. Alright, so the final one here, and I think this is the real reason why Elon is pulling off the long range model from the market, and that is because they are waiting for the EV credit that is coming in January 2023. They are trying to clear out all the backlog and the waitlist of the standard range and the performance, so there's nothing left to worry about, and then they are going to adjust the pricing for the long range model to be underneath that $55,000 MSRP, and that is going to qualify you for the federal tax credit, for the EV tax credit that has been announced, and it's just waiting to be confirmed at the moment. And if you guys go onto the Tesla website and you try to order a long range Model 3, you're gonna see a little indicator at the bottom, a little text at the bottom that coincidentally says that it's gonna be available in January 2023. So that is very, very likely the reason why it's being pulled off the shelf. We've always had tax incentive, at least up here in Canada and BC. It was roughly about $7,000 to $8,000 credit as well, but it was only applicable to the standard range models, and a lot of us, like myself, that don't really care about the standard range model, we want the long range and above, we just didn't get that tax credit. So if this really works out, a lot of you guys that have been waiting for the all-wheel drive model of the Model 3 to purchase with a discount, you are going to be very excited for this. Wait until January 2023, and that's going to be your first chance to hear about if the Model 3 long range is going to qualify for it, and you're going to get the best of both worlds. You're going to get the performance, you're going to get the LED, you're going to get pretty much everything that the performance model has, but at a cheaper price, and even at an EV credit discount. So to sum it all up, I think Elon is just BSing, saying the waitlist is too long. I don't believe it. I think there is so much more to the back end story, and I think it's just not very transparent here why the long-range Model 3 has been pulled off. So anyways, let me know your thoughts below if you guys disagree, agree, or you guys have any other comments related to this. You might have some other information that I have no idea, so I'd love to hear it. I'll respond to every single comment there is. Anyways, this should wrap it up for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is John. Once again, peace out.